Welcome everyone. You are listening to and perhaps watching Calling the Audible. I'm your host, Peeze, Della, Reeze, and I'm joined in studio by friend and colleague Terry Tam. For those of you who don't know, he was a waiter in a Thailandese restaurant, was kidnapped, was sold in the black market, and we rescued him from the sheer goodness of Robert Campana to work for less wages than the Thailandese restaurant.
I still have PTSD.
Yeah.
Rumor has it the God of War video game series is based off of his life.
Yeah.
Loosely based, but...
Loosely based.
Very loose. I mean, you can't base him too closely because there's legal issues. Matt Damon gets involved. And of course, our own ugly version of Mark Wahlberg, the Eagle on Action Control. To be fair, though, we're all ugly versions of better looking people, right?
No,
You
I'm
say
better
that?
looking versions of ugly people.
I was
Cyrus.
I was at the grocery store near my house, and the cashier's like, you look like Matt Damon.
Matt
And I was
Damon?
like- I was like, no, I look like Mark Wahlberg. And she's like, oh, yeah!
No, it wasn't Mark Wahlberg or Matt Damon. It was the Matt Damon puppet in Team America.
Matt Damon. Oh yeah.
Do you guys know the story of the puppet?
Yeah.
So they ordered the puppet. They had like a regular script for him and everything. But when the puppet arrived, he just looked like he had a mental deficiency. And so they rewrote his part to be mentally deficient.
As Matt
That's the
Damon.
story.
Matt Damon.
Speaking of mentally deficient, Simon Dagenet's lightweight. They took on. I was there for the beginning of the game. They took on STL,
Mm-hmm.
and my God, when they don't have Corey Kennedy and Justin Blanchard, this goes from being, a struggling but productive offense to, poof. And like the worst is if you've played against Simo or played with Simo, you know the parts of the field he likes to attack certain parts
Corners.
of the field.
Not
when,
right bench.
when he runs the post corners, when
Not
he runs
right
the corners, when he throws the hook to the outside on first down,
Yeah.
and the thing is, for years,
It's weird. The offense. We couldn't figure it out.
really,
I mean, we did, but we just couldn't do anything about
yeah.
it.
Well, in his defense, we like to make fun of him, but he is pretty good at executing, despite the fact that everyone knows what he does. But
It's true.
he also surrounds himself with great athletes. In this game, a couple of the athletes missing and didn't have the firepower that STL had. Looking at STL, the STL side of things, Terry, how do you think they slot into Division One action?
I think they're top two in this out of the tier, I guess.
The second half of tier two.
The second half of tier two, yeah, because you have I think they're better than Conspiracy. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that overall they have a lot more weapons. Paul LaPierre is a big help. I think he helps a lot with that team.
4 touchdowns this game.
Exactly, and he really commands a lot of attention. Paul LaPierre, and what that does, that opens up everybody else. That opens up Theo. That'll open up. I don't think Jamie's playing this year.
Yeah, he was.
He's
there
been in
that
and
game.
out. I think.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if he's a full-time member, but he was there
That's
that,
it.
that game.
That opens up a guy like Zach Zwern, who's always overlooked, and you know what? And that's what their recipe is this year, and it's been working so far. I think STL is one of the better teams in the division.
We shift our focus into Division 4. Tier 4.
Tier 4.
Terry, you told me you studied a lot of these teams this week. So
Yeah.
I was curious, where do you want to start looking at Tier 4?
When it comes to Tier 4, I mean it's tough to really isolate. I think Jean-Guy with the most experienced team in that division. But overall, honestly, it's very top heavy. You have the new guys coming in,
Like us. Very top.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, top heavy. We're muffin tops. It's a muffin top kind of division.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
But overall, I mean, you look at Jean-Guy. Obviously, they're undefeated. So you look at them as being one of the best teams. I was looking at the ratings, and a guy like Simon Laporte, I thought he would have a higher rating than that. That's wondering how they fit into Tier 4.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? For a team like them, they should have been in Tier 3. Experienced team. A guy like Chartrand on their team too. But overall, I think Jean-Guy is the best team. Trojans, honestly, a lot better than what I thought they'd be when I looked at the roster. Overall, looking at what they've done so far this year, being able to put up the amount of points they have is freaky.
I've actually watched a lot of Trojans games this season, and to be honest, it's interesting because they have good athletes and guys who don't fully know what to do, but there's like parts of concepts that are there, and they execute. And they seem to be, and for those who haven't seen the website in the last hour or so, I posted an article earlier where we went over sort of the teams that are in the worst position moving forward, and teams that should have tanked.
Yeah, exactly. Trojans is one of them, I think.
Trojans, but they're starting to the third spot, so they're going to stay most likely in tier 4.
Really? How's that? Oh, because they're in third place.
Yeah.
But they have 292 points for. It's like 90 points ahead of the next.
Yeah, they
team.
just got off to a rough start because they're new and not knowing the league. And you have Jean-Guy and Bruins, who are sort of the cream of the cream of the division. And you talked about Simon Laporte and his role on Jean-Guy. Jean-Guy, Terry, hadn't played for a couple of years, came back in the spring, struggled terribly.
Yeah,
Simon Laporte only really played lower divisions, and no offensive impact. So his rating is only on the defensive side, and even then, because of the multiplier for lower division teams that don't know, when we calculate your rating,
based on the lowest division that you played. Well, the highest division that you played.
So if you only play Division 5 and 6, you'll never get up to like a 90 rating
exactly.
necessarily. So all these things to consider for those teams. How do you think Jean-Guy will do? I feel it would be an early round exit, as I stipulated in my article. How do you feel about their chances moving forward in tier 2?
You know what? I mean, they're not that they're much of an organized bunch. They're kind of like a cheaper version of the Dans were before, when they had when they had Danny when they had the Danny McPhees and those guys. They're a cheaper version of that, where it's kind of like you run pass, and it's what I mean by run pass. I mean the quarterback running and just dumping the ball off. No real deep threats, things like that. So I think they can squeak through one game, and depends on who they face in the finals. Honestly, it's a toss up.
Very matchup dependent.
Yeah, exactly with them. Because they're not the most athletic guys. They have a lot of speed. When I look at that team, Simon Laporte has to be the one to step up overall.
Well, he definitely controls the pace of that defense. We see that the defense runs completely through him. So I've played against him. He's a very good rusher. He plays far beyond his rating. I've played against high division rushers that aren't nearly as good as Simon Laporte. So if you haven't played against him, you don't know him necessarily, but definitely he is what allows their defense to take the chances they take. In tier 3, we look at X-Men, who've had the most unbalanced season, 3 and 4. At one point, X-Men were a stalwart for consistency. Then they came in more recent seasons. They've been a team that was either dominant or couldn't get a win, and now they're like inconsistent from week to week.
Man, X-Men are the one of those teams that's like, okay, how good are they?
Yeah, we don't know.
You never know how good they are. Wade Williams has taken a few seasons off. Gautama's taken a few seasons off. Kevin Bustani's always been there. Gautama's won quarterback of the year a couple times, well, in lower divisions. Wade Williams, we always say, me and Jim always say that he's one of like the unsung heroes of FPF. He's been in the league forever, but he's never really gotten the respect he deserved. And it's weird. They're a good team, and they just can't get it done. They always play to the level of their opponent. Mm-hmm. Always. If the team's good, they'll play well. They might not win. If the team's bad, they'll play ass. Like that's pretty much what happens with X-Men. It's a little frustrating because they're a good group of guys, and you want to see them succeed. And overall, I mean, they're a good team, and you want to see them succeed. But they're just one of those Jeff Fisher teams, 8-8 all the time.
I was gonna say, so Eagle, you can't sympathize with this because you're a Packers fan, and Aaron Rodgers is one of, if not the most, he's to me the most talented person I've ever seen play the quarterback position, regardless of whether or not he has all the accolades.
You haven't seen Malik Henry, have you?
Not as yet.
Last on the show, Last Chance U. I'm sure some people know.
Yeah, I don't.
No, all right.
my television schedule's already pretty full.
It's Netflix,
and filling up filling up with more and more sports as time is going on. An announcement from myself and Terry and Mo Khan, who filled in for us last week. Mo and GM, thank you for that. For you guys filling in last week, but that announcement will come a little bit later as we have some more information coming forward. Eagle being involved with that project as well.
You can almost say it's soon.
Soon.
TM.
Yeah.
Soon.
Soonish.
Trademarked.
So, I feel like, we said, Eagle, you don't understand the struggle, but so, like we ask in the NFL, is Dak Prescott good? Is Ryan Tannehill good? Is Guadmaswamy good? It's those are guys who, if we look at the NFL context,
Andy Dalton good.
But is Andy Dalton there's this whole
he's not Andy Dalton.
There's this whole class of guys in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Who are never sure how are they being carried by their defense, by their coaching, by their offense, by their offensive line, and then so similar. You don't have all these features in FPF, but so is he good? Is he good as compared to the competition? Is he good because of guys like Kevin Bustani and Wade Williams and his team?
You
Well,
know
then
what?
again, if you think about it, he's won a championship without those guys.
In Division 6, though.
Yes,
So that
but
plays to, is he good against a certain level of competition? He's the
That's a
reason,
good
by the way,
point.
we have a quarterback cap in FPF.
one of the reasons, yeah. Him and
The-
Sammy Feeder, too.
Yeah.
Well, listen, he put up 44 points against ECW, so I mean, there's something there. You know what I mean? To put 44 points in FPF is a lot of scores, and to put it up against a team like ECW, easy win, is impressive enough as it is. So he's got it. He's won a championship, Division 6, regardless. That talent. There's a reason why we have a cap system. It's because of that talent pool, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to give him respect where it comes. But overall, I think that they're just disappointing because I feel like they should be a lot higher than what they are. Kevin Bustani does not belong in Tier 3. Kevin Bustani is a player. David Myron does not belong in Tier 3. Wade Williams too. So overall they fit because of the way they've been playing. But overall, individually they shouldn't.
Do they make him better, or
No.
no?
The whole team, they're all built the same way.
Mm-hmm.
They're all built the same way to the point where they're there to have fun. They're kind of like lightweight, except lightweight's a lot more talented.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're a lot more athletic. They're a lot faster. Where lightweight is there to play. They don't give a shit what happens, and I don't think X-Men do either. And it's cool. I mean, that's great. It's a recreational sport.
And
Right?
this is mentioned in my article. Twice this season, Guatemala Nottingham left the game in frustration.
Oh, there you go.
And he understands the games well. Like
Yeah.
he also coaches junior and had success with his teams.
No,
there
very
and
smart guy.
Yeah,
everything.
but there's a lot of guys. One in this room was a very good FPF junior coach, not a very good quarterback. Understanding the situation.
Right, but this is one of those situations
Not me,
where
don't-
if you look at the Div 6 record, right, winning a championship, clearly it's not on like his receivers, it's on him at that point. And that's why we put that rule in. Then you look at this roster and you go, well, none of those guys are weak or replaceable to make this team better. So it's just a combination of all the ingredients that just doesn't add up to a successful recipe.
It's really tough to judge. Also, we'll call him Gout when he hasn't scored more than 50 points in 50 touchdowns in his career.
We call him Gout.
Yeah, Gout.
Gout.
The Gout got me.
Yeah.
He hasn't thrown over 50. He's only played in lower
Well,
divisions.
over 50. That's 5 a game. That's 30 points.
But that's where we consider. I hate using the word elite, but that's where you consider the word elite for a quarterback. So he's always been an above average, if not average, quarterback, depending on where he was, which division he was playing in. So he's good. We know he's good. He can have great games, but he also has the worst games possible.
So, given that he's been irritable this season, would you say that
Cut him.
saying this about him would make Gout more inflammable?
Inflamed. That was a lot. That was hard. You
Dad
really
jokes right there.
dug deep into that.
I
one.
was the whole analysis you were doing. I was not paying attention. I was like, I need to.
Where's
I
the
need to
dad
look
joke
swelling
in this
into
one?
this. Before we get into the weekly Eagle the Hell report about lockdown, looking at Tier 2, which result surprises you?
Are you playing on
more?
lockdown this year?
I do.
No way.
Yeah. He abandoned One Speed Power to go back to lockdown.
Good choice.
Thanks, man.
One Speed Power is 5-3.
And what lockdown is
2 and not 2 and
2
less.
and 6.
yeah, but you're having a great time, aren't you?
It's great.
Because you don't have to play with Peeze.
It's true. I've been doing a lot of yelling this season too. You guys are surprised. I got the inner Justin Blanchards come out.
The inner Blanchard.
So, but the thing is, what's interesting, and I'll touch on some other teams here real quick, but one of the things that Eagle and I looked at today that was interesting was OSP is 5-3 with a minus 23 point differential. With the minus, what are you, Eagle?
We're minus 54. We're 2 and 6. And the thing we were
with
looking at is,
essentially
I would
the
be 4
same.
and 4 if we're 2 points.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We've lost 2 games by 1 extra point.
They're
That's
essentially the
crazy.
same teams, but one just keeps winning close games and losing blowouts, and the other one loses the close games and the blowouts. But other teams, I would look at some of the other teams here. Which score surprises you more? Les Flamands Fous tying Mean Machine at 31-31, or Greendale Human Beings losing Junkyard Dogs 31-25?
Greendale Human Beings losing the Junkyard Dogs. The Greendale Human Beings are the I want to say the Detroit Lions on week 1 this year. You know what I mean? Where you kind of think they're gonna win and then they lose to a team that they should be beating. I mean, Junkyard Dogs, give them the respect they deserve. Very good team, but Greendale Human Beings they match up very well against teams like that. Aggressive teams. Where they don't really know their style, they jump routes very well. JYD does, but where GHB comes in, I think that's a game where they match up extremely well. So I'm more surprised in that. Where Mean Machine and Flamand Fou, they match up well against each other. So 31-31 tie. I mean, I see it that way. I like Goloff as a quarterback. I think he's very capable.
18 interceptions.
Yeah, I know. That's why I watched the game against. It was a couple weeks ago. I forgot who it was against, and they lost. And it was ugly to watch because when Goloff came in. Yeah, exactly, SWAT.
Okay.
And it was tough to watch because I think that Mean Machine's a lot better than SWAT is. Goloff, to me, when he first came in, I was like, man, this guy could be a good quarterback, maybe like Division 3 max, if with a few good receivers.
Oh, he's got a cannon of an arm.
Yeah.
Smart play calling.
Very smart play calling. But I think it's just not working, and I think it's because he fit a bunch of his friends that never played flag before. There's a few guys in there that I've never seen. So I think that's what's happening now is they don't really have the experience and the chemistry. But overall, I think Goloff is very capable. It's just he's having a bad year. So honestly, it's tough for me to say, but I think that GHB is probably the best team in that division. They should be killing everybody.
One of the things that I've noticed about their defense is they play a lot of man, and up in tier 2.
GHB?
Yeah. No, not GHB.
Mean Machine?
Mean Machine.
Yeah.
And when you play a lot of man against the higher division teams,
you're gonna get some.
You see in tier 2, they're gonna call pick plays. They're gonna call plays that are designed to free up guys in man. And unless you're completely physically dominant over the other team, you're not going to be able to do that. And like we see this in Division 1 where there's absolutely elite athletes, and we see in the lower division where teams can dominate another team based on athleticism. But in tier 2, I think they're seeing that kind of difficulty.
Can I throw another game in?
Are they ranked in tier 2 now? If like the season ended today, they'd be in tier 2?
Well, it's different the way it breaks down for different brackets and everything.
Okay.
We'll get to that later.
So we're gonna touch on that soon.
Another game from tier 2 I want to kind of just mention because last week I was called crazy. I said that Voodoo was going to beat SWAT and that Isaiah Allard was going to be a non-factor on defense, considering that he's a giant and Frank K is the opposite of a giant.
Yeah,
and Voodoo won.
He's a non-giant.
50-27. Isaiah Allard, 2 tackles, not even sacks, tackles.
I wonder if he even rushed.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I would assume so.
I would assume he rushed because he's a very
prior
good
to the game of Sport Time, he kept raving about how good a rusher Isaiah Allard was.
Yeah.
So I wasn't there for the game, but given that, I would assume the game plan was to have him rush, especially when you see the size of Frank K. Eagle, I want you to research what the opposite of a giant is, and you read the first thing, because that's what you called Frank K. Whatever the answer is,
just don't call him old. Whatever it is, don't call the guy old.
I literally searched what is the opposite of a giant, and the first result is giant.
Frank K is a giant. Frank K is a giant. So the thing I will say, 2 torn Achilles, older than all of us in this room.
Yes.
Me less so than some others. Then who else was there? The fact that he doesn't have the strongest arm, the fact that...
Is he older than Gio?
I think so.
I think so too.
But, like, given all this, he's still a super productive quarterback at FPF. You know what I mean?
He'll have his games where it's like he just blows it up, like where he doesn't do well at all.
He can't chase from behind.
Yeah, that's it. It's a good point because he forced it, but he's got a good arm. I wish I looked like him at his age. You know what I mean? Like
all of us in this room wish we could throw the ball the way he does at his age, at any age.
But he's Frank K, man. He's one of my favorite guys in this league. He's a super nice guy. Everybody likes him, and he's a good quarterback. And I'm not surprised that Voodoo beat SWAT. SWAT are a disorganized team. They're not organized at all. They have a loose cannon at quarterback, and he's their captain. They rely on Sean Haney and Isaiah Allard to do everything basically. Gino is not even a shade of the quarterback he was when he was winning all those Division 1s and making All-Stars and things like that.
He also won Division 1s when Division 1
when there was 2 divisions.
When it's not what we have.
When Division 1 was Finest and then Division 3 teams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Division 3 teams, like a mid-pack Division 3
and Finest hadn't found their footing yet.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, all respect to Gino, Hall of Famer, tout le kit, but he's not what he was before. Where Carmine, well, just use the comparison because they're friends. Old. They've always played on the same team. Carmine's old. Carmine still is one of the better receivers in this league. I don't give a shit what anybody
says.
As a quarterback. Yeah, even as a quarterback too.
He's not Division 1 anymore.
He won in Division A and he still did pretty good. You know what I mean? And with guys that don't belong in Division A, where Gino, if you put him in that role, he wouldn't do that well. So you're relying on Sean Haney and Isaiah Allard to do everything. If that's gonna happen, Gino loses his mind. And that's basically what happened against Voodoo. I could put my left nut on the line for that. And the Voodoo organized team, Frank K, amazing, and he knows how to keep a lead. And they have very good players in that team. I love watching Voodoo play.
Yeah. They definitely are exciting. Eagle, the fuck?
1 point. Okay, so in case people are wondering what we're talking about,
Yes.
so Lockdown lost 25-24 to Diablos. So first off,
He lost to Frank.
yeah, I know.
We both
okay.
did.
I
this
love
season.
Frank.
Then again, yeah, a
Very
lot
good.
of us lost to Frank.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's the lowest number of points that Diablos have scored all year, which is
Whoa,
wonderful.
take it to the bank.
Super happy about that.
I'm happy that you didn't put him in a situation where he once again chooses himself as quarterback of the week.
Yeah.
So
How many times has he done it this
every
year?
week.
No way.
It's kind of funny. Yeah. Check his articles.
Oh,
By the way,
Frank,
honestly,
I've only
legit,
read one article,
I
but he's a
will
good
say-
writer. I like the way he writes.
I will say I do love his articles.
Yeah.
And very analytical and very, very good articles. Especially for guys who for French is not their first language. He writes in a way that's easy to read.
Yeah, exactly.
And is enjoyable. That said, it's the funniest shit in the world.
He's the new James Floriani.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
No, I wouldn't
There's no
wish
cure
that
for
on
that. There's no coming back.
But yeah, it was actually just a good game. Like everyone was having fun and everything. It was back and forth to a certain degree. I think the first half was 12-7 or something. Like, it
There's
was,
never any hostility. Sorry, there's never any hostility when you play against Diablos.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
such nice guys. I love
We had
Wiseman,
a- we had
JD
a-
Jolly.
we had this
all them.
huge tense game. You know how
Yeah.
a lot of me and my guys get during games
Yeah.
and we're tripping, whatever. Literally had beers with them after the game.
Yeah.
at the bar down the street. You know what I mean? So they are good guys.
That
definitely.
usually happens at FPF, right? Where you'll be at the bar or you'll be at like Catalonia watching a basketball game or whatever after the games, and the team you just played against is gonna sit right next to you. You'll start talking about what happened, you know, and that's the best part about this league. And Diablos are one of those guys where nothing's ever gonna happen on the field bad enough to the point where they're not gonna like you or you're not gonna like them. I love those guys.
Yeah,
Big fans.
absolutely.
Lockdown, fuck them. Except for you. Is Pat Riot your quarterback?
Pat Riot is their quarterback.
Man, I miss when he used to wear the football pants.
oh yeah, those are the best. The compression shorts and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah,
Oh,
and
man.
nothing but the
Nothing but
compression
those
shorts.
yeah.
Didn't
I
Pat
used to
Riot
miss
go
that.
to like a Patriots quarterback camp, and then when he got there, realized it was him and a bunch of children?
That's exactly right. So he
That's-
signed
no,
up for.
it's one of my favorite things.
I happen to be an accomplice on this because he's like, I signed this up, and I'm like, fucking great. All right, let's go. We drive down to Boston. We basically realize he signed us up for day camp.
Why would you sign up to a quarterback camp when you're like not in high school?
And we show up, and we have like uniform, like we have our FPF gear, right? And there's like 10-year-olds, and they come to us like, "Are you guys pros?"
Yeah, ego, you're screaming pro. Yeah,
He's a podcast pro.
he's a podcast pro. Yes.
We're all professionals here.
All of us. Yeah,
not me at all.
not me, not anymore.
I saw this score came up and surprised me. #list FreeVinny. So just FreeVinny.
No, we're #FreeVinny.
He lost that bet though. I mean,
But it was never on the line. I'm
FreeVinny?
glad I'm here to talk about
yeah,
it.
FreeVinny.
For Vinny.
FreeVinny lost to won to Keyport Lockstars.
Yes,
To me, Keyport Locks. I don't even know what to like.
they
If
didn't have.
I
They didn't
was-
have Rod this week.
If
Rod
I was
Bashwood.
gambling on Keyport Lockstars this season, I would have lost money every week.
yeah,
Because when I expected to win, they lose. When I expected to lose, they win.
that team. You know, what I mean, it's Jeff is a very good quarterback. I'm a big fan. I mean, well, he has to have the weapons though, right? He has to have his guys that he relies on. Rod Mashloop wasn't there. Raul wasn't there either. So those are two big pieces that they like to use. But you still had Ryan and Jad, and you still had who am I thinking about on the other
Nick
side?
Pikellis.
Yeah, Theo and Nick. Nick
Yeah.
is such a good player, man.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about him a lot. We
Like Theo is more known, but
yeah,
Nick's
of course. Yeah,
also
Nick
excellent.
is very good, man. Like fuck, I would take him on my team any day. You know,
Yeah.
he's a nice guy. He's aggressive. He'll talk shit on the field. I like the way. I love the way he plays. Theo too, both of them. And honestly, I had fun playing against them. It was a really good team. And they're really fun to play against. We were joking around, but they just couldn't get it done because they couldn't spread the ball as much as they like they do with Rod. Ryan's not as fast as he used to be. He's still very fast. Jad and Theo, they kind of alter that role, that snapper to slot role, where he was overthrowing Theo a lot. Theo was doing a lot of pose, deeps, and things like that. So I think that just the chemistry wasn't there. If Rod was there, I think it'd be a completely different game. We got our first pick of the year, if that means
Seriously?
anything. Yeah, Jordan Allard and I said before the game, I go, whoever gets a pick today, Milano's on me. And then it was the second half, maybe 3 minutes left in the game, and he threw a ball in the middle of the end zone, and Jordan came out of nowhere.
Does Jordan Allard even know what Milano's is?
He knows what it is. Yeah, he's been before. Yeah, we were talking about it
now.
all week. He's talking about it all week. Honestly, we're 1-6, 1-7, I guess, whatever it is, and it's the funnest team I've ever played on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, they're
far.
good guys.
Yeah, all of us.
It's funny.
Except for Sean. Fuck him.
Well, he's a bad person.
Yeah,
He's
horrible.
If I knew 9 people, he'd be the 10th best person. I
for
know.
sure.
You
He wanted to
but
be
like,
on today, but I told him no.
What's interesting? Why?
Is he just playing bad, like lower to his potential, or what's the problem?
You know what? I think it's there's a little thing with me and him there. We don't really have the chemistry together. You know, the snaps aren't coming in the way he likes them, and some of them, honestly, against I forgot who it was. Oh, against No Regard. It was like there was literally 3 bad snaps. I know I eat shit a lot for that one against the Ghosts, but I rarely have a ball that goes low. It usually goes a little bit high.
Yeah.
You know, or
I put a
Holloway
ball-
is like it's weird. He kept on hitting his feet. I've never done that before.
I put a ball in the stands once. So
There you go.
But I will say, as a snapper, especially when you're playing with quarterback that's not familiar,
Yeah.
like there's weird things about how they line up and distances,
Yeah.
and then like once you miss a snap, we're all head cases. As snappers, we're all head cases, and it gets in our head.
Yeah, 100%.
And like I will not miss a snap for 3 seasons, and then have a season where
It's
I'm
like bam, bam,
sucking.
bam, bam, bam.
You know, and it's just hard to explain. It's hard to
With
explain why that-
Holloway, I don't think I've ever hit it over his head. I mean, he jumps. He's a basketball player, so he'll jump and get it. But if it's a little bit too high, but I've never missed it over his head. And overall, I think the only game that we should have lost, that I'm pissed about losing, was the game against the Chittiats. I forgot whatever team they're called. Something in beers. No, that's no. We're playing them next week.
Dirty Dogs?
Dirty
Dirty
Dogs.
Dogs,
Yeah,
that's
Dirty
it.
Dogs. Yeah.
I was staring at you, Eagle.
I mean, very athletic.
I was like that other team, and I'm like, can you be a little bit more specific?
The Chittiats.
'Cause you lost to a lot of teams this year.
What I do
Yeah,
like,
all of them but one so far.
what I do like though, in all honesty, I can say I've played against all of your team a bunch. I've played against Sean Abram. I've played against Kenton Lowe. I've played against Jordan Lord. I've played against Vincent Nardone. And all of us have gotten in each other's faces at one point.
Yeah.
And like, but with none of these guys, is it a personal thing?
Yeah.
It's all of them understand. It's the game. It's
It is
you
what it
do.
is, man.
You know what I mean? It's
Man, I was yelling at the quarterback for Dirty Dogs. Why am I drawing him?
Yes.
Ryan L.
Ryan Leonowski. I was like, man, they have half a quarterback and one receiver. We're losing. And he's like, yeah, whatever. He's like talking shit back kind of thing. But it is what it is, man. It's going to happen. It's part of the game.
I do want to ask you a question.
Yes,
So,
sir.
you know, we make fun of Sean Abram. We're like, oh, he's the 11th best quarterback.
Yeah.
Do you consider him top 10 in the league?
Top 10. No, I don't consider him top 10 at all. I wouldn't. I would probably put Holloway in top 10. If it's just top of my head now and not without having to think, I wouldn't put Sean top 10. Not that he's not top like 15 or whatever. But top 10 it's like to say just top 10, not knowing the list is really tough. Sean's a very good quarterback.
Well, we got to, because we're looking at the ratings. We're
Yeah.
going to pull back the curtain a little bit.
Yeah, he told me what his rating was. I don't know how he got the info.
Well,
It doesn't fucking make
It's
sense.
not actually true. We're experimenting.
Oh, okay. Who gave it to him?
it's
Don't
not
give
gonna
him
be-
this shit.
It's not going to
man.
be much lower, by the way.
No, we're gonna lose now
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah, probably.
I told because right now we have him accidentally. Well, what would if the current model we have him ranked number 7?
Yeah,
And so I said we're gonna do whatever we can to make sure he ends up number 11.
that'd be funny.
Yeah.
No, but he's not
Well,
top
but,
10,
when we
and
went
he's not
through-
top 7.
We went through the list of top 20,
Yeah.
and like we're like, okay, you can move a guy like 2 or 3 spots down, or 2 or 3 spots up, but like in the
90,
end,
94?
these are the top 20 quarterbacks of FPF.
He's top 20 quarterback. He's top 20.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can name 7 quarterbacks better than him right now.
Do it.
Lazara, Marco, Nado Pews, Wyeth, Roshdi, Lebeau,
Rossi's not better than
I wouldn't say
Sean.
Rush.
Hollow-
I wouldn't
Hollow-
say he's better anymore.
Holloway, maybe not anymore.
I would say
Holloway,
Holloway's better.
Yeah,
yes.
Holloway, Dylan Taylor.
Dylan's close. Just similar.
Yeah, similar, you know. But Dylan Taylor.
But like, here's the thing: like, if to me,
Vinny.
yeah,
Sean's the 3rd best quarterback on our
As
team.
QB? You
Yeah,
think- you
Vinny's
think
very
Vinny's
good.
better
Sean's
than
the
Sean?
Sean's the
Vinny
3rd
is-
best quarterback.
Vinny is
Vinny's more
almost,
athletic. I will agree.
Vinny's almost as good as Joey Taylor.
You know what? Joey Taylor better than Sean?
I set you up for that one.
Joey Taylor better than Sean? I mean, I don't know. Nah, I'm kidding. But
There's
you know,
some-
top 10. I wouldn't put him top 10, but top 15. They're 15.
Braves beat #NR. I mean, #NR is a good team, but there's just a
Jeremy
separation.
Anderson. Jeremy Anderson making an excuse saying that he wasn't there and Corey Pecker wasn't there. Oh, okay. So they replaced Corey Pecker with Ryan Kastner, who I didn't mention, but he's top 5 for me in the NFPF. So it's like, what? Yeah, what's the excuse there? You're losing Corey Pecker for a guy who played college football his entire life, and he played it for McGill for 5
It's
years.
like college football his entire life.
Yeah,
winning
he's
the-
old. He's really smart.
But the thing is that there's just to me a division between the top
Yeah.
teams, and like No Regard is to
Top.
me the next of the second best grouping of teams.
Yeah,
they're
100%.
there, you know?
100%. Honestly,
that's not an insult, but and they're
No,
gonna come
no.
and complain to me for sure.
no, but they're
That's
not.
not an insult to say
You can't say
the
they-
fifth or sixth best team in the league.
They haven't won. They haven't won enough to say they've lost against the Braves twice in the finals, and they lost.
It's not
it,
just
and they lost
results,
it.
because sometimes you look at a result and if the sample size is small enough,
Yeah,
you know the results don't necessarily reflect reality. But at the same time,
they need Theo.
at the same time, like you look at the games themselves, you look at the teams themselves, how they're constructed, and based on our knowledge of the game and the thousands of FPF games we've watched at this point, to me, there's just a different level of when you look at #NR versus FPF All Stars or Braves, and that's not
100%.
to me. Those are the two teams that are going to be
100%.
playing, and I don't think anyone else has a chance in Tier 1. Do you think anyone else stands a chance at top 6 teams?
Top 6.
Yeah.
I think NR needs a player like Theo.
Mm-hmm.
If they get that player like Theo, then yes, they are more than capable to compete in Division 1. Can they get that player? Or maybe they can get one of those fringe guys from Division 2 that doesn't play in Division 1. I don't know what Justin McLean is doing for Division 1. If that's an option, he's playing with FPS also this year. So I assume this season. So I assume he's going to play with them in the winter. Somebody like that. Somebody like, Marco Bertoldi, like guys who's never played it. Well, he played for Rainmakers as a rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Papic is coming back this week. I'm just saying them because I know this year he's coming back this year. So guys like that, I mean, not to compare them to Theo, but they need somebody like Theo. Theo helped them a lot this year in the spring when they made it to the finals.
I just want to remind everyone here that #NR are currently 5-2, right? So they have one more game left. So they've lost to Braves,
And
obviously,
FPF.
who are currently 1 seed. They've lost to FPF All Stars, who are currently 2 seed. And next week they play STL, who are the 3 seed.
Yeah.
So
I think
And
they'll beat
would
STL.
I would say they're better than STL. Like to me,
I think they'll beat STL.
It's tough because these aren't like the regular teams from tier one from Division 1 necessarily, but like as constructed, like #NR might be as good as, let's say, Conspiracy, or I'm forgetting someone in the top 6.
I didn't even
Keyport
say Rod
Lockstars-
Mashtub in quarterback.
Keyport Lockstars is 6, Conspiracy is 5.
Yeah, so like maybe like that one's close.
Mm-hmm.
I think NR, just by virtue of playing together so long and having that experience to draw from, versus Conspiracy that's just a bunch of mercenaries put together, that helps them succeed. But I think they're better than STL, but I just don't think they're that top 2 kind of thing.
Are they better with STL with or without Theo? Like, if you take Theo
well, that makes a difference for
on
STL,
STL, if you take Theo on NR, I think they're better than STL. You know what I mean? Even let's say you add Jamie back full time.
Let's say both teams had Theo.
No regard.
or just neither team has.
No regard.
It's the easier way to do that. By the
No
way.
regard. I think their defense is better.
I would agree.
You take Jordan. You take Travis. I mean, those guys are good. Kendall Myers, a very good rusher. He's a decent receiver as well. So I mean, they have a good core, and I like the fact that they've stuck together. Before the spring season, Corey Pecker told me, he's like, "Oh, we're gonna get washed in Division A." I said, all you have to do is beat Braves. I go, that's basically what you have to do. Just hope you don't play them in the first round of the playoffs. They didn't. They made the finals, lost them in the finals. So it's like, at the end of the day, they underestimate themselves. Well, Corey does. Or the other guys, I think they overestimate themselves a little bit.
Corey, he'd still be Division 4 quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with no jerseys. But overall, I think that they're a very capable team. And with one piece, I don't know who it's going to be, but they can do well in Division 1, I think.
We'll do some quick hits from some of the games we haven't covered yet. Just some quick impressions, if you can.
Impressions.
We have Sweat and Beers facing off against 2.5 Dans tonight. I hate doing predictions, so I'll make you do it.
Sweat and Beers 2.5 Dans. I'm going to go Dans by 15.
Because?
I think Sweat and Beers, it depends on who's playing quarterback. If they have that young kid, I just don't know if they're going to be able to know what to do against Joey's offense. A lot of people that play against Joey, if they don't play against them often, they don't really know. Trick, play 4-1. It usually works. But I just don't know if they're going to be able to pick up what he has to do. Look what he did to Banlieusard with 5 guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just to say. So I think I'm going to go Joe.
We called it
it was Danny, but you know what I mean.
called it on the show saying that Les Banlieusards would self-destruct in the game against 2.5 Dans. They're just a volatile group.
They're very volatile.
In Tier 2,
I know
Pigeon
firsthand.
Squad losing to Levian La Vida Loca 51-38.
So we saw them at Milano's, actually, Levian La Vida Loca
Mhm.
after, and he was telling us how the game went. And Le'Veon Loca. I mean, I think what's the quarterback's name? Corizier, whatever his last name is.
Zachary Kibier, right?
Yeah, he's good. I like the way he throws the ball, man. He throws a cannon. And Mintantat. Is it him?
Nope.
That's the other one. I'm very racist.
Henry Dam.
Boom. Very damn. And then Saho, as much of a fan I am of his, very good receiver. And who's the other one? Kevin Gauthier. Remember Big Daddy Diesel Gauthier?
The other one is not.
The other one is not another Asian fellow. I think I just really wanted to say Minton.
Like they don't look alike at all. They're just the same height.
The same race.
Yes.
But Eagles gonna lose his freaking mind. Honestly, I'm not surprised. They're a very good team. They're very explosive. Alex Labonte too on the team. So he made the sickest catch last year. It was crazy with like 2 fingers jumping over somebody, caught him like that. I was freaked out.
One Speed Power beats Outlaws 34-30.
Not surprised. Next.
Yeah, I was gonna say not surprised. Go ahead.
That vaguely surprised me.
Why?
Well, because I know them. They're a good, talented team. Kevin Smuda is a matchup nightmare. But their defense was too easy to attack in the intermediate 10 to 12. We had 10 to 12 yards on every play if we wanted it.
Why were they backed up so far? They're scared of your deep ball?
Well, Mike Adonis throwing.
Oh, okay.
Still though, same question.
Mike Adonis.
No, but
he threw like 250 yards.
Yeah. But so do I every game. But that's because we attack the 10 to 12 yard. Like, what we want to do is that, right? Like what every quarterback wants is to be able to gain the most amount of yards with the safest possible throw. And
well, no, why would you do that?
Well, exactly. So the One Speed Power's offense is based on stretch the field deep, look to attack short.
And
once they attack short, you attack over their heads.
You attack William Power.
Yeah, well, that too. But we also had Steve Sander in this game. Steve Sander.
I love that guy.
Super nice guy. But
9 catches, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns.
So the thing is, what I was explained to them after the game, when Stephen Harper saw it and Kevin Kasai, is that their defense is not aggressive enough and that they allow just too many things to happen. And you need to jump. You need to take risks and to cause turnovers. Because if you just try to go score for score with teams, you're going to lose games.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of what their experience has been this season.
One thing I want to mention, Tier 3 Supernovas. I said that you've been flying under the radar for the media. If you won this week, that we were going to cover you, and you lost. So
no
that
coverage.
So
that's literally the next thing I was going to mention. I will not. Dream Breakers beat Los Bandidos 41-25.
So this game, I mean, when you're scoring this many points on Los Bandidos, I mean, Los Bandidos are usually they're pretty known for their defense. I'm trying to load up the stats here.
Yeah. San Benjamin being one of the premier defenders in low division.
Exactly, they're known for their defense. So I mean, it's impressive enough as it is. So overall, great game. I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but just looking at the line, just very efficient, man. Very efficient, and that's what FPF is about. Some people, they get it wrong. Use the Joey Taylor, man. Vinny Golano learned from Joey Taylor. Just dump the ball, make sure the guy catches it. That's all that matters, and that's what they did. You keep it simple. You end up popping 6 touchdowns against a really good defense.
Easy W beat Club Rouge 33-19.
So Easy W, probably one of the better teams I've seen. And when you talk about like pound for pound, I think they're probably the best team in FPF.
Yeah, because they don't have a lot of fat guys.
No, I mean pound for pound in terms of the division.
That's it.
And they have 0 fat guys.
Yeah, which helps.
Yeah. So whereas opposed to FreeVinny, we have 2 fat guys.
Yeah.
Two?
Or One Speed Power, where we're all fat guys. Goddamn Italians.
So ECW, I think pound for pound, they're probably one of the better teams in FPF for sure. So I'm not surprised. I'm not maybe a little bit slow on the touchdowns. Jeremy White's the quarterback over there, right?
Jeremy White is the quarterback.
Yeah, Jeremy White's a very good player. I would 100% take him on any maybe Division 2 team. Yeah. Not as a quarterback, as like a defender and receiver.
I think he's to me a Division 3 capable quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with that at all. If he has a decent defense, just to give him the ball back enough time.
To be honest, the defense hasn't even been that great. It hasn't been scoring.
Yeah, that's it.
And he has 5 guys that he can attack with at all times. Perhaps the biggest surprise, we talked about some surprising games. Hawks beating Broken Ankles 33-0. Terry, your former teammate, the guy used to throw balls to, and now throwing the ball himself. Jakub Telemak, 15 for 20, 175 yards, 5 touchdowns.
So Jakub went nuts this game, and it was good. I mean, it was fun to watch. I watched the game, and I checked the schedule, and I saw that he was playing before me, so I went in a little bit early to watch. And him and Richie have a good thing going over there. I think Jakub is a very good quarterback, and if with, like I've said it's the 3rd time I say it today, with the right weapons, I think he could do damage. They're probably going to go to Division 4 next year, but for this year, they just took over, man. That game, it seemed like the other team was doing well, and then I would look at the score and they would just never score until they finally got 2 touchdowns in the second half.
It just seems bizarre. Broken ankles have been strong.
Mm-hmm.
Hawks have struggled. Broken ankles, with Jonathan Lemieux starting the game, throwing 2 interceptions, Matt Debo taking over, not doing much better himself.
Yeah.
I would have thought, if Hawks managed to win the game, it would be a high-scoring affair, not a complete blowout.
Jakub is, to me, the best player in this division, like overall talent-wise. You could throw him in there with maybe Jeremy White.
Theo Levine would...
yeah, exactly. I mean, no, but overall, I think just talent-wise, a little bias, obviously, there because I've played with him and I know him well enough. But he can pretty much do whatever he wants on the field.
Trailer Park Boys tie Fresh Lungs.
I hate ties, man. I hate ties more than losses. Just go for 2.
Wearing them or...
I mean...
Dad jokes.
You're such a loser. So yeah, I hate ties more than losses. I mean, if you get just go for 2 sometimes, it helps.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you're having trouble converting, some teams have started just going for 2 all the time, even without mobile quarterbacks, because they have more space to operate.
Of course, if you throw those corners really well, which I think they do, do it. I mean, hit a corner from your snapper if your snapper's fast enough. Me and Peeze aren't doing any corners anytime soon, so.
I caught one in my FPF career.
I actually caught 1 touchdown this week. Yeah. And I was surprised he actually threw the ball.
Slow developing.
Very slow. I had to cut under GM, and I was like, but overall, you just go for 2 sometimes, man. You change up the pace of the game that way.
Okay, so we got to the part of the show now where Eagle interrupts me and tells me we're gonna do something instead of the thing that I'm transitioning.
No, I just wanted I just wanted to mention because it's a kind of a big deal. Llama's Pajamas won 38-19 over.
Isn't it Llamas?
The only thing I want to mention is from a stat line perspective that up until this point, Llama's Pajamas had scored 15 points as our highest score throughout the entire season. So putting up 38 is double and a half, basically what they'd previously put up. Olivier Godard, 5 touchdowns in this game. Previous to that, he had only put up 2 against replacements, 1 on Fresh Lungs, 1 on Trailer Park Boys, and big old zeros on all the other games. So I don't know what happened in this game, but he played really well.
He's actually interesting. Olivier Godard throws the ball insanely hard all the time.
Isn't it Yamas and Pajamas?
I thought it was Yamas Pijamas. I thought it was a soft J. It's like yogging.
He's like yogging.
I keep thinking it's bananas and pajamas, and
I've already made that joke several times in my article.
I don't read it.
Grandma's.
I know. Pajamas. I can tell. Eagle, you have the newest breakdowns for where we're at heading to the next round, right?
Yes, exactly. And this is still pending results from this week because we have 3 games today. So the things are going to change. Also, next week we have week 9, which is 10 more games. So 7 on Monday, 3 on the Thursday, which is the recap from the Labor Day games that basically didn't get played.
Week 1.
So most people have all their games played for the year. So you have 8 games in the regular season. Some are still outstanding. Mm-hmm. So basically,
we'll see if the games are outstanding.
Yeah, exactly. So this is still not final in any way, shape, or form. But basically, the ordering is, if you're looking at the screen, you're going to see it. To read it out loud.
We should get our own screen, by the way. It's there.
This might be boring radio, but Braves, All-Stars, STL, #NR, Conspiracy, Lockstars, you guys are currently the highest grouping.
So, in my article, Terry, I talked about how Keyport Lockstars kind of screwed themselves. Do you think they go with Rod Mashtab as quarterback for the playoffs?
Can they?
Yes.
Why not?
Wait, what's the cap? The cap
There's no cap in tier
The cap is going to be specific to whatever you registered with. So if you ended up in tier 1 and you get demoted to tier 2, so example, Sweat and Beers and FreeVinny, you keep your tier 1 quarterback cap and your team cap, so you don't have to downplay.
Okay. Well, I mean,
otherwise it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Like literally, you forfeit.
So no, but last year, exactly, you can't play. Yeah, you can't play. Last year it was you can add 10 to your score. Now you have the cap of the division that you can't go over. Okay, that's what it was. Do they go Rod Mashtab? I wouldn't go Rod Mashtab. Rod Mashtab is a freaking good receiver.
Yes.
So you lose because you have a decent quarterback and a very good receiver, whereas you would have a very good receiver and a Jeff just sitting on the bench.
Well, Jeff can snap. And Jad plays.
Why would Jeff snap at that point? I mean, he's not. You're losing Jad at snapper. Jad is not as good as he was before at slot. You know what I mean? So
fair.
So you lose Jad at snapper. Where Jad makes his money at snapper. Jad as a slot he's good. He's good, but he's not nowhere near as good as he is at center. And I think it takes away because Rod, he needs either Theo or Jad to snap, and he'll switch it right away. He'll be like, "No, fuck this shit, Jeff. Get the fuck out of here. We'll put Theo in there to snap." So I think you lose a little bit that way. And I think overall, to make a better roster, you keep Jeff, Rod at receiver.
So just for a kind of sort of playoff preview, let's say the standings were to stay the same. Braves and All-Stars would get bye in the first week. STL would play Lockstars, and #NR would play Conspiracy.
That's fun.
That's a fun game.
That's a great bracket in general.
Yeah, overall conspiracy. I love the way it's figured out this year. Thank God we didn't do well.
Yeah, somebody had a really good idea how to reorder these brackets. Somebody.
Who was it?
Anyone.
Mo had a good idea.
No.
It was
No.
Mo.
Mo wanted to do like March Madness style and just re-rank everybody and blow the whole thing up. Yeah.
You know what?
We tried that last
not
year
that
in
bad.
spring for Div E
Yeah.
to mix results.
Well, I found the playoffs more engaging.
They were more engaging,
I
but
don't know if they were
I liked
fair.
it,
the
though.
home seed won every time, and any team that got demoted got screwed first
So no,
round.
you know what you do is I had suggested this to Rob.
But if you remember Division 6,
Oh, yeah, that was
the
worse.
first round, it was
It was
just
blowouts everywhere.
Blowouts in every game. It was like, and it was like I was there that day watching the games. It was like,
well,
I
6D
wanted
because
to
you have
pull my
good
eyes
guys and you have the developmental players, but
Yeah.
like the top ones are obviously the ones that have played before. But I had a good idea that me and the sked builder actually had a good idea to tell Rob. We pitched it to him. He liked it, but of course Rob is going to do it 6 years from now and say, hey, we have a good idea.
What's gonna happen is I'll just steal it.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, what
He
it
says
is,
it louder.
you do what you do the Mokan, right? You do March Madness, but you don't do 1 to 16 on each side. You take all the odd seeds and you put them on one side, and all the even seeds on the other side. So it kind of evens the playing field that way. So you're not going to have as many blowouts. So you'll have one
one
plays
plays
7.
basically more similar to March Madness.
Yeah,
You're
more
actually
similar to
splitting
March.
the top seeds.
That's it. But you're taking all the odd number. All like if let's say you go on to 16, 1, 3, 5, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7 is on one side, and then the rest are on the other side. So it.
You don't want to do that with even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8.
Well, you do it on the other side.
Yeah.
2,
Like,
4,
did you forget your even
6. Daniel Lazara. So yeah.
So then we have our second grouping, which would be the Arsenal Bowl. So that would be, again, current standings. Banlieusard, 2HD, Lightweight, Dirty Dogs.
Ew.
And then from Tier 2, Diablos and Levion La Vida Loca jump up. So first round,
I like that, though.
Banlieusard and 2HD would get buys.
Yeah.
Lightweight would play Levion. And
Levion wins
Dirty
that game.
Dogs would play Diablos.
Dirty Dog.
The
No,
two of those
Diablos.
seeds may win
Diablos and Levion La Vida Loca win those games.
I don't think either one stands a chance against the top teams.
Yeah. No.
But I
of
think they
course
win the first. I think they win the first.
Yeah,
game.
you assume that 2.5 Dans are going to play against Banlieusard in the finals there in the Arsenal Bowl.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good bowl. I like that.
In the third grouping, the Wyeth Bowl.
I hate that it's named after current FPF players. I wanted to name it after like famous bowls, like bowling bowl, bowl of Super Bowl.
You name after guys that haven't played in FPF since like year 1.
or people who never played FPF.
Yeah. Like, we'll name it the
Like Terry's mom's bowl.
yeah, Eva Bowl.
So in this grouping, we would have Sweat and Beers and FreeVinny. And then we have One Speed
We get
Power.
buys?
I'm no.
Wait.
Oh,
You get One Speed Power,
I don't
SWAT,
wanna buy.
Junkyard Dogs, and Flamand Fou. However, the buys go to One Speed Power and SWAT.
because they're the higher
So
seeds.
Sweat and Beers, yes. Sweat and Beers would play Flamand Fou. And FreeVinny, #list or not, would play Junkyard Dogs.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Again, not
I'm-
final. but
I'm
Yeah.
not- I'm
we,
not
we
looking-
have a game this week, so it
I'm
might
not
change.
looking forward to you guys like
Losing to
losing
Junkyard
on
Dogs.
purpose to no like I don't like you're the team I don't want in our tier.
We don't belong in that division as much as our team thinks. We look at it, like Nardone and Sean. They're always like, "Yeah, we're Division 3 team." Yeah, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. We're just playing like a Division 5
We're
team.
Division 60. We literally were in Division 6 a
We're-
second ago.
I think we're a Division 2 team. You know, like maybe a mid-pack Division 2 team. I think we are really.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't like. It's a very strong team.
It is.
I think if you guys manage, if you guys manage to get into tier 2, into the Wyeth Bowl, is it Eagle?
No,
Yeah.
Wyeth is tier
Wyeth
3.
is tier 3.
Yeah, well, Arsenal.
Arsenal is tier 2.
Yeah.
Or
What's the
whatever.
first one?
If you,
What's the first bowl?
Oh, sorry.
Patch-
Not- no, it's not-
Ojea.
okay.
Oh, Jay. Yeah.
So if you manage to get into the Wyeth Bowl, you guys will have failed your way into a championship.
yeah,
It's the Sean Abram way of doing things.
the 10th out of 9.
Yeah.
In the Poliche Bowl, again, with the
Garmin.
ratings without the games and all that stuff, it would be Voodoo, Outlaws, Greendale Human Beings, and Lockdown. And then from Tier 3, Easy W and Unknown Talent would jump up. This would slightly be changed because of the results that just happened. So Voodoo and Outlaws would get buys, and then GHB would play Unknown Talent, and Lockdown would play Easy W.
I feel like EZW and Unknown Talent are the best 2 teams in that grouping.
Yeah.
Like
I
they're to me the favorites to win, even though
What
they're coming.
what
they're being
GHP's in
promoted.
there? I think GHP is probably one of the.
GHB hasn't looked good. They've won 2
No,
games.
but they're playoff team. That's what they do. They just make the finals. That's what they do all the time.
Maybe. I mean, we've seen Danny.
Yeah.
But Daniel usually loses a game a season. So
It's true, yeah, I guess. No, but I think, yeah, easy W, GHB, the road goes through them. So I don't see any. And unknown talent as well. But
In the Chenard Bowl, you would have Pigeon Squad, Mean Machine from Tier 2, and then Dream Breakers, Los Bandidos, Warriors, and Broken Ankles from Tier 3. Dream Breakers and Bandidos get buys. So it would be Pigeon Squad versus Broken Ankles and Mean Machine versus Warriors.
I don't know. I
think Mean Machine. I think Mean Machine spanks Warriors.
I don't know.
Yeah,
They've been
fuck.
bad. 18
you know what-
receptions, man.
But you know what? The Warriors have that style, man. They're gonna grind you out. I mean, they're ugly to watch, but it's whatever. They win. You know,
Yeah.
they do well.
In the Roshdi Benabalcator Bowl, it's funny because in our spreadsheet we have all the last names of people, and then we have Roshdi. X-Men and Avocados take the first 2 seeds with buys, and then we have Supernovas and Grabrouge. And then
Grabrouge.
joining them from Tier 4 is going to be Jean-Guy and Bruins.
Bruins, man. You know what? I like them. I like them to
think-
win the first game and then maybe do something in the final.
I think
Supernovas,
Jean-Guy
Bruins, and
finished
then
too
Grabrouge,
high.
Jean-Guy.
And
That's not
Jean-Guy's
bad.
not equipped to handle the better,
No, I don't
more
think so.
experienced teams.
It's true. I mean, you know what? I spoke highly about Jean-Guy, and I still will. I mean, I like playing against them a few years ago, and you know they're a fun team to play against. But I think the Bruins are just more athletic. They're more overall all over the place when it comes on the field. And that Grabrouge also, you know, very very good team. But I think Bruins they'll end up winning the Roshdi Bowl, whatever it is.
In the Keyshawn Thompson Bowl, we have Hawks and Bulldogs from Tier 3, and then Trojans, Raw Sauce, McDo, and Replacements from Tier 4. Trojans and Raw Sauce would get by, so you would have Hawks versus Replacements and Bulldogs versus McDo.
I'm drawing a blank. Who's on Rossas again?
Rossas is William
South.
Plant's team.
Who's playing? Who's team?
William Plant?
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So Hawks, I mean, we saw what they could do this week. Can they do it again? They did it against a good team in Broken Ankles. Who else? We had Rossas, and what was the other team? Sorry, that's playing
Raw
against
Sauce and Trojans is the one that gets
Trojans.
a bye.
That's it. Yeah,
I like
will get
Trojans
the
a
bye.
lot.
Yeah, Trojans. This one I think
They've been
they'll
exciting.
probably take it.
And then in the Lapierre Bowl, as the last one, it's the remaining 6. So Bud Nights, Teen Stars, Fresh Lungs, Trailer Park Boys, Lambeth Pajamas, Amateur de Sac. So
Amateur de
Bud
Sac,
Nights,
they
Teen
don't
Stars
really
would
win.
get buys. Fresh Lungs would play Amateur de Sac. Trailer Park Boys would play Lambeth Pajamas.
Well, Amateur are they going to score? Amateur de Sac haven't had a win. I mean,
Teen Stars are interesting because they actually lost. They lost 2 games by forfeit, and then a 3rd game where they showed up at halftime, and almost won the game.
should Paul be offended that this is his bowl? I don't get it. No,
Maybe.
it's fun.
Now,
I think Paul is the only one that would be offended.
I had a bowl named after me last year, and I'm like, this is stupid.
Which bowl? Who won it?
I don't know.
Well, you should know these things.
Hopefully not from somewhere.
We lost the Pachinard Bowl, and the only thing that made me happy about that loss is that I didn't have to take a picture with Pachinard.
I had to cover all the games last year,
but
and by the time it was done,
it was
didn't
fun.
I couldn't think at all.
What words? What are words?
Yeah, seriously, I was done. My brain.
What
was
is flag
fried.
football?
We'll do that again.
So in that one, I mean, it's tough for the Paul Beer Bowl. I mean, it's I'm at this. I don't know how they're gonna end up scoring points, and it just I can't see any of them. I can't picture them doing well. You know what I mean? Because they haven't done well all year.
so
That's why you can't picture it.
Exactly.
So to remind everyone, these
like a naked
are
woman. You've never
not
seen one.
final. These are not final. So there's games from last night and game from today that have to be updated to update them based off the current breakdowns. And then next week we have another 10 games for those who didn't play Labor Day. So these are not final. They are going to change.
Yeah, I'm in
so
that.
don't lock in your thing and start game planning for that team because this will be different.
I had to mention this though for FreeVinny. #FreeVinny. Last year, Kenton, Hollowak, GM, and myself were on the same team.
FreeVinny?
No, we played on what were we called? Dans and Tams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we made the finals, and we lost in tier 2 to No Regard. In the finals, we lost 51-44 or something like that. This year, all 4 of us, same team. We got better players, quote unquote, and we have 1 win.
Yeah.
So who's the problem? I blame Vince Nardone.
I blame the quarterbacking of Sean Abram.
Okay, sure. Why not?
Also, probably Nardone. He's soft. There's also that.
Just as a last thing when it comes to the standings and games. So the playoff schedule will come out likely at the end of next week. So that means, and just to let everyone know, the first round of playoffs is the week of the 12th. So there's half the games, let's say, on Monday, November 12th, and half the games on Thursday, November 15th. So Monday and Thursday, 12th and 15th, are the 2 days you need to look at. If you're in tier 1 or 2, more likely your game's on the Monday. If you're in tier 3 or 4, more likely your game is on the Thursday, from what I can see here. So that's likely. No, not guaranteed, but likely.
Also, pay attention to the site and Facebook and wherever else we post.
Wherever else.
So I do this thing when I go to like weddings, where I pay
Eat and
attention
drink?
to what the women are drinking to see to guess which ones are pregnant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is the answer always no?
Well, no, because I've outed 3 of my friends when they were pregnant because like I noticed at a party they weren't drinking.
I'm just gonna have a Shirley Temple.
It's like, what's that?
Hold
Water?
whatever.
Vegetarian sushi. Pregnant.
I'll take a vodka soda. Hold the vodka.
All right, so that takes us
Vodka.
to everyone's favorite segment, Games of the Week. We're also going to make predictions on the games that are currently happening, even though we predicted them last week, but Terry wasn't here. Terry, currently, who won between Replacements and Bruins?
Currently, who won?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would say Bruins.
Eagle?
Currently.
I have to check what I actually picked. I think I picked Bruins.
Doesn't matter who you pick. No one's keeping track.
Yes, I'm keeping
I know,
track.
I don't
I
care.
literally have a spreadsheet and I'm keeping track, which is funny because
Eagle,
the last
you're
2
the only
weeks-
one that works around here, man.
That's
Yeah.
true. Facts.
The last 2
We
weeks,
appreciate
actually, people have picked on behalf of Simon, and they've been terrible. So I'm catching up.
That's awesome.
Am I picking on behalf of Simon?
Yes.
So are you're keeping that track?
Oh, yeah.
The Simon, then on behalf, the
Yes.
proxy?
No. Simon gets all the picks.
Okay, he gets all the picks.
There was 1 week where when I was writing an article, I used to get picks from Terry, and Terry didn't submit them on time, so I purposely chose all the teams
I remember that.
that were massive underdogs. And then, but I think you had a better.
I think I had over
you had a
500
better week
record.
than me. And then in the coming week, McDo play raw sauce
I'm going to pick McDo.
I'm going to pick McDo.
because
I like the name.
that's a good reason.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, it's a toss-up for me.
Tonight, who won between or who will win between Los Avocados and Warriors?
Los Avocados and Warriors?
Yeah.
I like Los Avocados. Nice uniforms. I'll take them.
All right.
Nice uniform.
Eagle.
I have to find who I picked. I already picked these games.
I don't know. I also don't
Okay,
care.
whatever. You don't have to pick them. It's fine.
Who did I pick?
All right, Grab Rouge versus X-Men.
X-Men, give it to me, baby. Give me that gout.
I picked Warriors, by the way, in that
Keep
one.
drinking.
I'm gonna send you a bit that Chris Rock does, and he says the gout got me. He goes to jail for stealing too many socks.
Please do send
Yeah,
that.
I'm gonna send
I'm
it to
picking X-Men.
Bulldogs, Supernovas.
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 Broken Ankles, Los Bandidos.
Los Bandidos. Bounce back.
Los Bandidos. Let's do it.
Warriors, Hawks.
Hawks.
Hawks, my boy.
Los Avocados and
We
the
already
Dream
did that.
Breakers.
Dream Breakers.
We just did Los Avocados. Oh,
No,
it's their
'cause that's
second
tonight's
game. Los Avocados. We'll say it.
No,
We'll
Dream
just-
Breakers.
Dream Breakers.
Breakers.
Dream Breaker.
Final answer?
Gonna take Los Avocados.
Junkyard Dogs, Pigeon Squad.
Junkyard Dogs.
This is for next week.
Yeah.
Junkyard Dogs.
Greendale Human Beings against SWAT.
GHB.
GHB.
I really hope
And
so.
I think Gino
we
loses
need
his
a-
mind.
We need a
Gino's
buy
losing.
more than like Jesus needs something Jesus needs.
I think Gino this game loses his skull. Like he gets tossed for 5 plays.
Well,
Ow.
just,
Oh,
when,
yeah,
when there's no
100%.
hair to lose, it can only
I mean,
be
yeah.
skull.
You know what's gonna happen? Because I know how he plays and everything. He's gonna try and go through one of the GHB receivers to get to the ball, like to get to McPhee, for example.
Yeah.
And he's gonna get so upset.
Yeah, exactly. Oh fuck, I love it. I love watching games explode.
Who will win in half an hour between Sweat and Beers and 2HD?
2HD. Yeah, 2HD.
Eagle?
Hold on.
You
Gotta
picked
find
2HD
it.
for this one, obviously.
I picked 2HD.
Yeah.
Of course.
We
We gotta pick our
Sweat
boys.
and Beers, FreeVinny.
Hey,
FreeVinny.
FreeVinny.
If you guys lose this
Remember,
game,
you have to
the
pick
fix
as
is
if
in.
you were
What
small.
if the fix is in? What if we've already lost this game?
The fix is
We only
in.
come to the game to kill an hour just to drink beers after.
I agree. But don't drink during this time.
Oh, okay, that's a good point. No, we'll
Um,
win. We'll take it. We got our mojo back.
Would you pick that if you were Simon?
No, Simon would pick against us 100%. 100%. Just he wouldn't even know who the other team was. He would just pick against us
That's
because
fair.
Simon sucks balls.
He does do that.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
The
we're not
sucking?
judging. It's 2018. He can do what he wants.
You what?
The sucking or the
STL,
picking?
STL, hashtag NR.
It's a tough one, man. Full roster. I'm gonna go NR.
Nah, you gotta go STL.
Yeah, it's a toss up, man. Honestly, that spread is like 1.1.5. to
You think it's that
ST
tight?
to
You really think
STL.
it's that tight?
1.5 to STL, I think.
Nah.
No, all right.
Nah, I wouldn't take those odds.
Okay, cool. I played against both of them.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I like the Fall Cup this year. The way it's made, it's a lot better than last year. I think it was a lot
Last
of
year's our first attempt.
yeah, of
right?
course, yeah. But it was a lot of good. There was a lot of negative feedback last year. A lot of players didn't want to play because they thought it was that way. Like Marty Friedman didn't register because he thought it was the same way last year. And he's like, oh, if I had known, I would have played. So I like the way fall is this year, and I'm having a great time, even though we have a crappy ass team. But thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It's a good.
Thanks for subbing, man.
It's good to come back on. I'm a huge fan of the
It's
show.
fun. We haven't done this in years.
Let's just do it again.
Yeah.
What about the other
Can
thing
we
we're gonna
just
do?
fire Simone?
What about the other thing we're gonna do?
So announcement coming soon.
All right.
And waiting on graphics from our douchebag designer.
From our
Eagle.
albino design.
Final thoughts.
Yeah. Working on the ratings. Working on the rules committee for next year. Working on background stuff. Working on app. So new stuff coming up soon.
Am I too hated by the referees to get on the rules committee or the disciplinary committee? I want to be.
Disciplinary committee, 100%. Because
Just the fact that I named our team.
I've also never been asked. So
for obvious reasons.
well, also because we're trying to avoid having actual staff on it, because then
Yeah,
we're
of course,
influenced. So we're trying to keep it more of a
Yeah, no,
priority
makes
for
sense. I'm
disciplinary
busting
committee. But for rules committee, it's a combination of referees and
Yeah.
players. So what we usually try and do is before the meeting, we ask players for feedback of like what rules you think we should take a look at.
Yeah.
And then some of them end up being more administrative. So like how does the the operations work with scorekeeper?
Yeah.
And all that
I
stuff.
actually suggested having a player on the rules committee to oversee the situation. So that way when there are
So he'll be like the
players-
mediator, the scrum master, or whatever.
Well, like just to be there, oversee the proceedings.
Scrum
And then,
master.
And
I
then,
learned that
like-
word this week. Fitz. Your boy.
if there's a situation where teams like a team freaks out and doesn't agree with a rule or how something was called,
Yeah.
the player themselves can weigh in and just be like, "Look, I was at the meeting. This
Yeah.
is why this." Because I've learned a
That's
whole
honestly
new
that's amazing. Yeah.
appreciation of the rules just by being on the rules committee. It really
Here's
makes
one-
you consider
Sorry, go ahead.
other things. You could have just waited till the end.
I've
I thought you were done. I thought you were done.
I've lied a lot and said that I was on the rules committee to get a ref to go my way, and it never works.
Because they're at the meeting.
So a good example of that, did you guys know that if a quarterback, the ball is snapped at his feet, he can pick it up. But if it touches his hands, then falls to his feet,
Of course,
he can't
yeah.
pick it up. 'cause
It
then
has
he
to be in the
throws it
same.
off.
It has to be in one motion.
Exactly, yeah. So some refs are very good at calling that and explaining it well. And at first I was like, nobody could do it. And they're like, no, because it touched his hands. And I was
Don't get me started on the inconsistency in this league.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say anything else.
you can.
All right, the inconsistency of the referee.
I like that we gave Eagle the forum to give his final thoughts, and all he did was talk about himself and things he's doing. Am I going for one, going for two? I will also talk about myself. I wanted to.
As usual.
I don't know if I've set the example or if I'm just following his lead.
Seriously, I'm a terrible leader. I wanted to.
You know it's bad when he has to start the outro twice.
I want to reach out and thank everyone who posted on my Facebook and sent me a message and said, wish me happy birthday.
You're old.
It's a lot of people from FPF. It's a really touching feeling, and for people to take their time out of their day to reach out to me. I am trying to get through all the messages and all the Facebook posts. If I forget you, it's because I don't like you.
You're old.
Thank you, Terry.
You're
Thank
you
Eagle.
37 now?
36.
36. Fuck.
Still can't be covered. Thank you all for letting me be myself.